On this island, nobody is voted off. Instead, you're forced to prove your worth and your speed. But not everyone is guaranteed to survive, as Phillip Island's many corners have been known to catch out even the best. It'll be a test of skill to decide the remaining championship positions up for grab as we get ready to watch round 12 of the Lotus 49 World Cup. And you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is Sean Ambrose. Behind the scenes is our director, the Dr. Amjad Yaman, and he's using cameras provided by Ducky Beard. Sean, it's almost starting to feel more like Gilligan's Island for us. I believe we're on race number 6 within the last month on this track. But for those who can escape here, let's introduce our viewers to the circuit.
Yeah, but you know what? Beautiful southeastern Australia never gets old, Joe. It's beautiful here, just off the coast here on the Phillip Island circuit today. This track opened in 1956, and after falling into disrepair a couple times in 1988, they had a major refurbishment that created the modern layout that we're racing on today. Now, this is a 2.7 mile, 12-turn course that'll really separate the good drivers from the great drivers here. It has decreasing radius corners all over the place, some of the off-camber bends, and a few really gutsy sweepers that'll put drivers' nerves to the test today. Watch for drivers to get caught off guard, though, in the corners like the Southern Loop and Lukey Heights. MG being one of those trouble spots here, but to really give us a feel for what they'll be experiencing today, let's hop on board the Lotus 49 for a trip around Phillip Island.
All right, we're in the GSRC Lotus 49, so let's do a lap around Phillip Island. Coming down the Gardner Straight, let the car drift to the left and get ready to slow up for Doohan. This quick sweeper offers something of a passing opportunity, but trying to slip through here too wide can be pretty scary. Be prepared for some intense battles in this first corner. Then bring it back to the right as best you can and get the car rotated into the Southern Loop. You don't want to apex too early around this extremely long bend. Set yourself up so that you can get off the exit smoothly and confidently on the power. From there, it's a short burst to Stoner where you can't quite take it flat out. Feather the throttle until you're confident you won't understeer into the grass. But don't get too eager, because before you know it, you're braking for Honda. This is another spot where a lot of passes will tend to take place. You only get a short squirt of the throttle before you're chucked into Siberia. Despite a fair bit of camber here, it's best to try and late apex this uphill bend. It's going to be especially tricky to get the power down here because of the kink of turn 7. A little safety lift to about 90% throttle will keep the car from swapping ends on you. Then lift through 8, give another stab to the power, and finally scrub off speed up and around Lukey Heights. Hug the inside of the corner all the way to the exit so that you can have the proper line into MG. Don't let the slow speeds fool you, because the downhill braking into this hairpin makes it easy to overshoot the apex. After that, the track immediately switches back through turn 11, where you've got to wait patiently before fully getting onto the gas. Then comes what I think is the most fun corner of the circuit. Give it a big lift coming into 12, but tuck the wheel right up to the inside curb. Slowly feed on the power and counter steer to keep the car straight so that you can really fly out of here. Hopefully you kept it all together and have now finished a lap around Phillip Island. That should give you an idea of a lap around here, but real quickly, why don't we give you an idea of where the championship sits as well. As we look at the driver points, as we all know, Mick Claridge has wrapped up the championship multiple races ago, but second place, look at this. 1 point between Dudignon and Trangrade. They're both here today, so that is a fight worth watching. Billy Bob Wright and Enzo Canta as well are also here today to try and settle 4th. They can do no better than that position. And then below that, we've got a good fight between Zoko, Kaijinen, and Kemp, who is not unfortunately here, but Zoko and Kaijinen will be able to duke that out. So a lot of drivers to watch out for, a lot on the line still, even though the top spot has been decided. Now, Sean, what about the Constructors' Championship? Is that still up for grabs?
Well, Joe, in fact, it is. So the UK is only up by 7 points. Great runs by the Americans today could affect this battle. Now, it's a little bit further back for 3rd, and it looks like that might be safe for France, but Finland and Norway are locked in a battle, and, well, they're both represented here today, so we'll see what happens by the end of this race.
There's always something fascinating to watch in this series, whether it's the championship battles or the battles out on track. We always love seeing Dudignon and Claridge go at it. And with both of them here, that is, of course, going to factor into that championship battle for second as well. Is he going to throw a wrench in the system as we watch Randy Huff come around to try and complete his qualifying? Right now, nobody in with a time yet. Let's see who's going to be first to cross the line here. Let me check. Looks like Enzo Canta possibly going to be the first to get a lap in. No, Phillip Spencer, I think. No, that was his practice lap. It is Canta with a 1:29.1 on the board. So as others start to trickle in, Phillip Spencer gets himself up into second. Very good qualifying for him, actually.
A 1:29 is a great qualifying effort on what is a very warm track today.
Ooh, Billy Bob Wright with a nice one. 1:29.4, just 0.3 off Canta, but nobody's been able to topple the Italian yet. We expect Claridge to do well. Kajanen gets up to second. Michel Dudignon and Mick Claridge, first and second, front row. No surprise there.
I don't think I saw anybody go 1:28 in practice. A 1:29 flat is a blistering lap in this car.
Trangrade yet to put his time in. I see Benjamin Zocco is also waiting to get a lap down. So as Trangrade crosses the line, where is that going to put him? Can he do anything with Michelle? No, he can't. Oh, 1/100th of a second.
Wow.
You talk about a tight fight. Our two drivers trying to settle second in the championship. My goodness. Now, where is Zocco in all of this? He's trying to hold on to his spot in the championship. He's getting his first lap in here. And he gets, only 9th. Not a good one for the Australian. His home track not treating him well first time around. They get 2 laps, so he gets one more try. Now, Michel coming back around for his second lap. Can he move the marker even farther forward? Around Swan Corner he comes. Very tricky in this car. You can see him sawing at the wheel as he tries to catch it, getting that power down. Does he improve? Yes, he does. A 1:28.9.
Well, there's your 1:28.
All right. Ove coming around for his second. He's now about a 10th off. So can the Norwegian get himself onto the pole to help himself that much more? Down the front straight and across the line, 1:29. Oh, yes, he does, and he takes the pole. Trangrade responds. Wow.
Amazing. I did not know Ove had that speed in him here, to be honest with you. Didn't see it in practice.
Watching Phillip Spencer. Benjamin Zocco is actually coming around Swan as well. Remember, he was only as good as 9th. He's been bumped down to 10th as well. A 1:31.3. I'm pretty sure he's got more than that in him. So as he crosses the line, he does, but only at the 1:30.9.
Yeah, not much.
So let's go through our grid. Ove Trangrade, a bit of a surprise pole here, topping Michel Dudignon, who's going to start second, and Mick Claridge, who starts third. Row 2 is completed by Enzo Canta, and then 5th will be Joni Kajanen, and 6th, Sean, will be Billy Bob Wright.
All right, let's go to row 4. Phillip Spencer starting 7th. Richard Morin will start 8th. Ben Zocco, with a disappointing qualifying run there, will start 9th. Andrew Eng will start 10th. Row 6, the last and final row in this championship round, Hideki Koivitso and Randy Huff.
Phillip Island, obviously not as popular of a track as some of these others, so not as many cars as we've seen in previous rounds, and it is the final week, so attendance tends to drop off, but still we see our regulars coming out ready to run here in the Lotus 49 World Cup, and I guarantee you these drivers always put on a fantastic show out here. So I expect to see some good racing today, even with these 12 cars lining up on the grid. There we see second place starter Michel Dudignon from France. He is going to have the advantage, at least in points, over Trangarade, but Trangarade has responded by starting out with the higher ground, starting out on the pole. Nick Claridge having run a fantastic season out here. As the lights come up, the engines start to rev. We wait for the starter. Green flag is out. As the tire tracks get put down, a great start from Mick Claridge as he gets up to the inside of Michel Dudignon. He's got the momentum, but nowhere to go to get past Trangarade. Oh, almost some wheel banging behind them for fourth.
Kajanen and Kanta.
They both get away with it. Rare that you can do that in these cars as they swing around the southern loop. Already Trangarade trying to stretch himself away from Claridge. He knows that the Brit has speed. He can't let him get by. One of the good passing opportunities down into Honda. Everybody accordioning together. Oh, a bit of a challenge for second as Dudignon tries to go around the outside of Siberia, Sean.
Yeah, the outside of Siberia, if you can get a good run there, it might work. And these two are battling now side by side.
Goes for the over-under, but can't quite get side by side as they get to the S's. Now up to Lukey Heights as the track starts to tighten and crest. The cars lose grip. No downforce in these things. And then they woe them up into MG.
A very slow trip through MG for these cars, Joe.
Everybody successfully through, though, and as they complete the first lap, it's going to be Trangarade first across the line. Mick Claridge is holding on to second with that beautiful start at the green. Oh, Enzo Kanta off into the green.
He did it. He hung on. Wow.
Look at all it's costing him, though. Ooh, whoa, is the car behind. That was Ben Zocco getting surprised by him coming back to the racing line. Held it together. That bumps Kanta down to seventh.
I don't think Ben expected him to track out that far across. And Zocco now trying to get that position from him. Battling hard.
Kanta has one that surprised us at the start of the season. This is his rookie season in this series, but has done very well. But he seems to run a little hot and cold. Oh, as we almost had a spin. I think that was Andrew Ang at the back of the field. Coming through Honda. A little bit of contact involved in that between himself and Randy Huff.
Ooh, Randy's struggling. Randy's around. Ooh, didn't hit anything.
Going to go to Ing's incident here on the replay, and then we'll stick with this to watch and see what happened to Randy. Wonder if he got some damage from that. See, 3 cars down into Honda, and unfortunately, when they get that close, it's very hard to sort out. Now as we watch Randy Huff up into Siberia. Now, what happened here?
Just got loose.
Looks like
he tracked out a little bit there.
Yeah, a little too hot into the corner, and unfortunately, the grass does not grip as well. That sends him well into the back. He's a whole 10 seconds back in the field.
Mick Claridge just had a moment there, Joe, coming down the front straight. He was off in the grass. He's dropped. Oh, we've got a replay of it. Great. Yoni Kajanen almost takes the position away from him here. We'll see what happened. He just...
Whoa. It's the second car we've seen wobble off the track. Enzo Kanta was the one before. This is so interesting to watch because so many cars in Swan Corner, Sean, are just flat out, you press the gas and you go. This one,
no,
you cannot do that.
No, you can't do it in any of the turns here. You're constantly just trying to burp the throttle through these turns here to just keep the car on track.
That sends Claridge back into third, so only one position lost. But this does free up Dudignon to try and chase down Trangarade. He's within 0.8 of a second. Qualifying pace, we know that the Norwegian had a little bit of an edge. But what about race pace? Is the Frenchman able to gun him down? Last week, we saw a lot of mistakes from him that put him in this position in the championship. In fact, rare that we saw that many mistakes from the Frenchman in a single race as we did in Canada.
Yeah, if there was a week that wasn't his week, it was definitely last week. Man, Ove's looking really, really good to start this race, Joe.
Very solid, but we've jumped back to this battle between Kajanen and Billy Bob Wright. This is for 4th spot as the Floridian closes in down into the southern loop. Looking at him from the gearbox of Kajanen. Another corner where it's hard to find the throttle as it's a long, long exit.
You keep your eyes on that battle. I'm going to keep my eyes on Phillip Spencer and Kanta. Kanta all over the gearbox right now, Spencer.
Really, things up at the top have not stretched apart too much. If we want to jump up to 1st and 2nd, Dudignon has closed it down from 0.8 of a second to 0.3 of a second. We ride on the nose of the Frenchman. Now, I'm not sure if there was a mistake from Trangrade, but that a half a second within half a lap is a big chunk to gun down.
It is, Joe, and you know what? All it takes is a trip through one of these turns, like Honda or Siberia, or maybe even Lukey Heights, where you lose just a little bit of grip and you find yourself sawing on that wheel, and there you go. There's your half second.
This is a long front stretch where the draft does come into play, but with these cars being so streamlined.
Here comes Kanta up to the inside, heading down into Duhan. He's going to get by Spencer easy there.
First notch on the belt for Enzo Kanta on his recovery drive, what is hopefully a recovery drive as we ride on board coming out of Swan. And there you'll get a good visual here of that slipstream. He got a good run on the back of the car, giving that little bit of help that he needs. So move Kanta up into 6th. They score points into 8th in this series. Down to 1 for that position as we look at 4th, Kajanen and Wright. Wright still working on him. As they work their way through the S's. Another portion that I think would surprise a lot of drivers when they hop in this car that you can't take flat out. Oh, a little wide up into Lukey Heights for Trangrade. The battle is on as Dudignon now hounds him for that position. It is essentially whoever finishes in front for these two. This is the battle that we wanted to see. First on track, 2nd in the championship. As they come to the front stretch, Ove responds, pulls a little bit of a gap over Dudignon. And all this is happening about 1.5 seconds ahead of Claridge. That slip up really cost him. It's allowed these two to fight on their own for now, at least.
Well, Claridge is here for bragging rights at this point. But, you know, everybody wants a great result, right? You're a race car driver. You want to win.
Very much Claridge as well. He's won so many this season. That's how he sealed it up. Oh, defensive move into Honda from Ove Trangrade. Dudignon can't get the over-under on him. Now up through Siberia. Wow, Dudignon looks very unsteady out of these corners. That's about the 3rd time I've seen his car wobble as he tries to get on the gas. Are there things that you can do with the setup of the car, Sean, that can cause that to make it more unstable trying to exit a corner?
Tire pressures. I mean, there's not much we were talking about before the race. It doesn't seem like there are many changes in this car you can make that, you know, make it go bad or good one way or the other. But it's a hot track today.
Yeah, that too. I was going to say, I hear a lot of drivers fiddle with the diff of this car. It seems to make a big difference as well. So that's something some drivers might have a personal preference for. This is open setup, so these drivers can tweak away, although they share a lot. Another big slide by Trangrade into the southern loop, tries to cut it back.
It's fun watching those two battle right now. I am keeping an eye on Kajanen and Billy Bob Wright, though. It does seem like this could erupt at any time.
Oh, another defensive move this time, though. Dudignon holds to the inside to keep the pressure on. Bob's back out just to give himself a wider run through Honda. But look at this. Last time it was 3/10 through this corner. Now 2/10 up the climb through Siberia. But once again, Trangrade just looking so much more confident with his right foot, and he gets that gap back, a 10th more on the exit of the corner. And still extends it up to 5/10 now as we jump back to 4th. Kajanen feeling the pressure from Wright. Remember, these two not in a fight in the points, but Wright is going to want every point he can get. Actually, wait a minute. Are these the two that are in the... No, it's Wright and Kanta. So right now, Wright sitting in the better position, but Kanta is gaining.
He's right there. Yeah. I didn't mean that like it sounded.
Well, so at this point, Billy Bob very much needs to hustle to try and get past the Finn.
He's trying, Joe. He's really trying. I keep thinking he's going to pull this pass off, and then it doesn't happen.
He's very close. He can have a look in. Kajanen doesn't defend, stays on the racing line. So tough breaking into that corner. The setup off of Stoner, I've always found that tricky, Sean. Takes a peek into Siberia. Whoa, big slide from Kajanen, and he goes around completely.
Well,
that makes it easy for Wright, but unfortunately, it does not put a car between himself and Kanta.
Yeah, Kanta's free to attack now, and really all Billy Bob has to do is keep Kanta in the mirror for the remainder of this race.
On that replay, you can see just once that rear started to go, there was no saving it. Now, here's what is interesting to me is Claridge is only 2 seconds up the road from Wright. Billy Bob's showing phenomenal pace. That or Claridge is struggling today, one or the other.
Yeah. You know, I'm almost willing to say Claridge might be struggling a little bit, but Billy Bob has gotten this off to a great start, Joe. In fact, we're just about to the halfway point here. He's still got Kanta in his mirror. Hopefully the pressure doesn't get to him. That's what he's got to worry about and guard against at this point.
Kanta clearly has better pace than the Floridian. I don't want to say it's a matter of time, but he's got 11 laps to try and whittle him down. This is as hard-nosed as Billy Bob is, and we've seen him do some great defensive drives before. This is a tall ask for him to keep the Italian back.
It is, Joe. It is. It's going to be tough. It really is. Just hopefully the pressure doesn't get to him.
If ever there was a driver that's a hard nut to crack, Billy Bob's certainly one of them. Loves to try and hold on to whatever place he can. Does not like to give it up. Revels in a good fight, too. Meanwhile, up at the front, Dudignon still not been able to try and get past Trangrade, but Trangrade also equally has not been able to shake Dudignon.
Okay, and I think this is coming at an expense for Dudignon right now. I'm going to be honest with you, Joe. I've been watching his line the past couple laps, sliding the car around a lot. And on this hot track today, these tires, you don't want to beat him up too much. You've got to let him recover a little bit at some point. And with only 10 laps left to go now, or 11 laps left, 10 to go, boy, not a lot of time left, you think, here to get that rest you need on those tires to go back and attack. It's going to be a tricky proposition here for Dudignon.
As close as his rival is, he really can. He has no space to try and woe up the car, ease up his pace, and get those tires back. Have we shown the weather graphic yet here? I'm not sure. There we go. 91 degrees on track, so a little bit hot, not outrageously so. And there is a little bit of wind. It is a little gusty, not too surprising on this island. 12 miles an hour. I have to imagine that'll affect the car a little bit in a couple corners. Wonder if that's why we're seeing a few guys lose it in Siberia.
And very well could be. And then, of course, could make the trip into Lukey Heights even more sketchy as you climb the hill and get to the top there and then make your descent down into MG.
This is what the cars are doing right now. So we watch Billy Bob Wright once again. Now only half a second between himself and Kanta.
I was surprised at how much I really had to slow the car down in MG. I mean, it's compared to some cars, it's practically a crawl through there in this Lotus 49.
It feels like it. A lot of people, and you know, that's what always amuses me, is so many drivers say, oh, it's so slow in the corners. Well, you look at most corners in this car, you're still going 60 miles an hour, which is not slow. And speaking of which, Ove Trangerade with a 128.8. That's close to his pole lap, isn't it?
It is, Joe. Yeah. And
actually, that's better than his pole lap. It was a 128.9. Wow.
Well, that's what somebody in your mirror will probably do for you.
These guys are pushing. That is just ridiculous.
I mean, even Dugnan turned his fastest lap that last time around at 128.9.
He had another big bobble out of Siberia, and that cost him. It's now up to 6/10. I feel like Michelle just is not very strong at this track today, at least. But yeah, what makes that even more incredible to me, Sean, is in qualifying trim, these guys have the fuel down as low as it'll go. And these guys still have half a tank, so that's a couple gallons extra. And this car, which is only 1,250 pounds, that really does make a difference. It can affect your lap time.
Yeah, it definitely can. And boy, Dugnan really falling off now here, Joe. You say it's him in the track. I say he's just driving it way hard, and the car is giving up on him. He's losing grip. And that, we keep talking about it. Grip is such a premium here, so hard to find. All these turns, you're battling, you're struggling to get back to the power.
Well, with that separating these two a little bit, let's take the opportunity. Oh, was that a slide through Stoner from Dugnan? And he actually gained time through there somehow. That car looked all kinds of sideways. I wonder, can we get a replay with an onboard, and then we'll go to a through the grid here. I know how tricky Stoner is, having driven this car through here. I'm wondering how much he's counter steering. Watch this. We're coming out of the southern loop here, and here's Stoner, this left-hander right here. A little bit of counter steering, but he just caught the inside and didn't look as dramatic from onboard, but from my angle, boy, he was getting that tail out. So with that, let's start with first place. Ove Trangerade has been leading since the start. Michel Dugnan lost second temporarily, got it back away from Claridge, and has since then been focused with his targets set on Trangerade. Hasn't been able to do anything with him. Claridge himself had an off coming out of Swan Corner, the previous one that he just ran through, and he's regained ground back up into third. Has been sitting on that final podium spot since then. Billy Bob Wright has managed to get himself into fourth, but it is looking precarious for him. That is because he is trying to fend off Enzo Cantas. Thus far, he's been successful. Kanta sitting at a half second back in fifth, Sean.
And then we'll go back to Phillip Spencer. Having a decent run here. Spencer with kind of the same problem that Billy Bob's got. He's got a really hot shoe behind him in Joni Kajanen, who just doesn't seem to be hooked up today, to be honest with you, Joe. Boy, it's Phillip there just sliding the car out, gives Kajanen a chance, but it still remains Kajanen in seventh, then back to Ben Zocco. The bad qualifying for him has not yielded anything, Joe. He's still stuck back here in eighth place. Richard Morin currently sitting in ninth. And a little bit further back, you're going to find Hideki Koivitso having a little bit of a battle with Andrew Eng for that 10th place spot right now. Neither one pay any points, but that is the last battle on track, as Randy Huff has already taken his machine back behind the wall about 10.5 minutes ago.
Now, Kaijin and Zoko are battling for 6 in the championship. And speaking of 6, Phillip Spencer and Enzo Canta.
Yeah,
Here comes, excuse me, Kaijinen, rather.
Yeah, Kaijinen got that run at a Swan, Joe, like we saw earlier.
Takes it with ease. That moves himself up into 6 now. And like I said, that is important because Zoko was trying to run him down. And right now, that should bump Kaijinen up ahead of Zoko in the points, I believe. Which would be good for Kaijinen as he lost that position last round. However, up at the top, Dudignon yo-yoing back and forth. It's back down to 2/10 yet again.
Wish I knew the French word for yo-yo. I bet it's pretty cool. Just thought, random thoughts.
Well, let's ask the peanut gallery. Let's see if any of our YouTube chat knows.
Random thoughts with crackers on a Saturday night.
Well, coming up through Swan, Dudignon, this is one of those corners that's been bothering him. Look at the wheel, just it's steadier than before, but even still, it's up to half a second. What was down to 3/10 up at the top of the course, up on the hill. Keeps getting away from him as he comes in very hot up to Doohan, and once again, doesn't cost him time. He is just wringing the neck of this car. And there you see, that time we really got a good view of how sideways you can get through Stoner, and Ove Trangrade with a mistake into Honda. Dudignon can't capitalize, but now the challenge is on. He looks around the outside of Siberia, goes for the over-under. Stays steady with him. Both drivers even off the corner. Now they swing through the S's. Dudignon cutting as close as he can up and over those curves, climbing the hill up through Lukey Heights. He can smell blood in the water now. He looks to the inside down into MG. He's cut off at the nose is another big slide for Trangrade through MG. Both cars just struggling around every corner as they have shot these tires with 6 laps to go. The heat on the course is starting to eat them up, take away the grip. It's a question of who can survive, who can keep the car pointed straight. Settling down the front stretch, it stretches back out to 3/10 once again. Boy, we talk about the rivalry as he closes in through Southern Loop once again and has to back off. We talk about the rivalry, Sean, between Dudignon and Claridge so much, those two being the fastest, but Trangrade in recent times has put himself into the mix. Oh, defensive move into Honda. And I really feel like we're seeing a second rivalry brew here this season, and last season too, we should mention, because Trangrade and Dudignon were going at the championship last season as well. That every time we turn around, it's Dudignon and Trangrade having to fight for it.
Well, you know what we've learned about Trangrade over the season, over a couple of seasons now, is that he's human, okay, and he has his off days. But man, when he's on, it's a thing of beauty, man. He flexes that muscle. Right now, Dudignon finding out how hard it is to get around Ove when he is on point, and today he is on point, Joe.
Not missing much through the rest of the field, as the closest battle we've got is for 10th. That's Ang and Koivisto. Yeah. But with 4 laps to go here in a second, I feel like we almost need to stick up with this. Trangrade once again showing that car set up much better for corner exit, and I really think that has been his saving grace today.
I want to bring up a technical point real quick, Joe. Something we discovered in the pre-race, that you talked about the difference in weight between this car and the Skippy. It just blew my mind. What were the numbers on that again? Do you remember that?
Oh, sorry, we saw another big bobble by Tudignan through Stoner. This car is 1,200 pounds, I think it was, and the Skippy is 1,250. So this 50 pounds lighter. I'm not sure about the dimensions of what the car is. From the outside, it looks like it should be bigger, actually.
Right. And you would think by the type of equipment, the parts alone from one era to another would make the car heavier, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and here's the other thing that makes that so astonishing, and this is why this car is so darn fast, is there's 400 horsepower, which is 230 some horsepower more than what you've got in the Skippy.
So if you feel like graduating, folks, and getting out of that Skippy, hop in the Lotus 49.
Michel's got the bit between his teeth. There you see up at the top of the screen. Fastest lap of the race. My goodness.
Well, there's no more saving the car. And look at that. He's struggling. Ove's struggling big time through Swan. Or I'm sorry, not through Swan there. It was, my bad, Siberia.
Yeah, up to the... Oh, that was Southern Loop, actually.
It was. I'm all over the track, Joe.
It's easy to lose track here as we watch this battle down to 3 laps to go. Again, if you're just joining us, these two are in a single point fight for second place in the championship. Right now, Michel leads the points, but Ove has track position, and if it finishes in this order, Ove will overtake him for second in the championship. Up and over Lukey Heights, gaining a little ground. Now, as they come to the final corner, it seems like this is where Ove is strongest. This is where he's gaining so much time over the Frenchman. Yeah, just look at, he'll streak away here.
Yep. He just seems to have found better speed out there in Swan, Joe. He's figured something out there that Dudignan hasn't, obviously.
Man, Dudignan, every time he comes into these fast corners, that the tail just wags out from him, and yet he holds on to it. He's looking a little bit more like Mick Claridge today, if anything.
I was just about to say the same thing. Yeah, it's very reminiscent of Mick and the way Mick gets his cars around the track.
Those two do share sets. Even they're not afraid to swap that information around. This car's so much down. Oh my God. Dudignan. The car just waggling back and forth, and still he holds on to the back of the Norwegian. This is the most entertaining drive I think I've ever seen from Michel.
Well, we're used to seeing him up front and just driving away from everybody. He's having to fight. He's having to earn this one, Joe. I still don't think it, well, my opinion, but I don't think it's going to yield him a win here. Ove just seems to have it where he wants it right now.
Only the checkered flag will tell that tale. We've learned that so many times here on GSRC. And as they come to the white flag, the opportunities are now winding down. Only so many places where you can attempt to pass around here. Dudignan way too far back to try anything into Doohan. As they come through the right-hand sweeper, you can sometimes pass into the southern loop, but yet again, 3/10 back, nothing doing there. Down into the apex for Ove Trangarade, nice and tidy. But gaining ground this time through the middle of the corner. Michel Dudignan looking strong. They're coming up to Honda. This is a great place to make it happen. He gains ground through Stoner. He's looking around the outside. Could he make it happen? No, can't get it done. A big slide by Ove. Over under? No. Oh, and he gets a better run. Coming up to Siberia. Gibson around the outside, but can he hold on to it? Remember, Ove is better off the corners.
Wow.
The lead now finally in the hands of the final lap on Michel Dudignan. Can he hold on to it up through Lukey Heights? Ove pressuring, trying to see if he can do anything down in MG. Looks around the outside, defensive move side by side with 3 corners to go. Tries to get on the power this time. It's the Frenchman who's much stronger out of the corner. Can he hold on to it? We know that Ove can sometimes gain a gap out of Swan. Can he do it around the final corner? No, he cannot. It's Michel Dudignon with a final lap pass, solidifies his 2nd place in the championship and takes the win.
Claridge is just barely going to finish in front of Billy Bob Wright, who over the last 2 laps was just throttling it, Joe. And Billy Bob will settle for 4th, but finishes in front of Cantes, exactly what he needed to do.
How about a little love for the battle in the back between Ang and Koivisto? We couldn't get to it earlier. Koivisto trying desperately. This is not for points. This is just for pride at this point. The yellow and black car is Koivisto leading Ang. Ang closes in, out, down around Swan, but it's too little too late. And this one is going to go to Koivisto. Let's take a look at the replay on that pass. I did not expect that to happen on the final lap. This all started in Stoner. Coming up to Honda here, just around the outside. Thought it wasn't going to work, and then that slide through the corner is what cost him. Almost looked like Trangrade missed a gear or something coming up to Siberia.
We'll go on board with Ove here. I'm still a little speechless over that finish, man. I really thought Ove had that wrapped up, Joe.
You know, it almost looked like he was just offline going into Honda and carried more speed than he expected. Even Michelle was asking in the chat if he missed a gear. Valiant effort for Ove to try and get back past him in MG as well. With that, we're going to go to break here on the Global Sim Racing channel. We'll come back with the official results as well as driver interviews. And stick around because on screen you'll see all the upcoming races here on GSRC. Welcome back to Phillip Island. We just watched the final round in the Lotus 49 World Cup. If you missed that race, please go back and watch it. It was a championship fight for second, at least in the points, but first on the track, and it went all the way down to the final lap. Michel Dudignon only led a single lap. It was the last one. He came away with the win. Ove Trangarade, a mistake in the Honda, cost him dearly. So he takes third in the championship, second on track. McClarridge, a podium today. Definitely not his track today. We'll have to get an interview with him and see what was giving him so much trouble. Billy Bob Wright with a nice fourth, and that is going to, I believe, get him fourth in the championship. Yes, indeed, as he lost out to Trangarade, just a few points ahead. Enzo Canta takes fifth, and Joni Kajanen gets sixth. Sean?
All right, Philip Spencer going to wind up with a seventh place finish. Not a bad drive for him. Benjamin Zoko probably going to be feeling a little bit let down right now, but it started with a shaky qualifying effort. He'll only finish eighth. Ninth for Richard Moore. Hideki Koivitso, a bit of a disappointing drive for him today, too, I'm sure, but good fun back there, battling Andrew Eng, who finishes 11th. So Koivitso 10th, Eng 11th. Then Randy Huff had some trouble early and only got 4 laps in, and he'll finish here at the end of the field in 12th. And like you said, Joe, a light field today, but geez, a very exciting finish and a great race up there. A great race throughout the field for this championship battle. It came down to the last race.
As they say, it is not quantity, it's quality. And that's what they gave us. Enzo Canta waiting for an interview, having taken fifth today. And let's pull him in. The Italian gave us a bit of a scare at the start. I'm sure it was a scare for you as well, getting an off track coming out of Swan Corner.
Hi, guys. Yes, it was very scaring. I didn't have time at all this week for practicing. Fortunately, I know well this track. It is one of my favorite ones, so I was confident I could do a fast lap. I did it, but I lost. I don't know if you saw, but I missed the second qualifying lap when I was under my first lap. I could do first row. I was under 20 hundred of a second. So I'm satisfied with the speed I reached with so poor practice. But again, in first laps, I did almost the same mistake I did in the qualifying in the same corner. I tried to open the throttle a bit earlier than the car that weren't in front of me, and I was dying as every time. And fortunately, I didn't die and I didn't kill anyone. I almost cut the line at one driver behind me, so I told him sorry, and I say again to him. But it was a funny race for me. I recovered only one position. I was fighting with Billy Bob, but he was more. He did very defensive lines, and it was very difficult to pass him. And then I did some little mistakes that make me out of the fight. But congratulations to the podium, and I'm satisfied too, because I think I had the right pace here.
And speaking of Billy Bob, were you aware that you were in a points fight with him in the championship? You were only 2 behind. And do you care about that 4th position fight, or is that just not in your mind at all?
No, I didn't know. I didn't know. Sincerely, I didn't know the standings. Well, I did the race only for fun and to reach the best results I can do. So in that moment, I was only thinking that Billy Bob is my friend, and it could be a funny fight with him. And in fact, it was so funny. And then I saw he catch the Mick in the last laps. It was my goal to pass Billy and catch Mick, but too many mistakes. So again, so much fun. I don't care about the standings. The next season, I think I will be more. I hope I will have more time to practice and to be more competitive in the races.
Oh, we'd love to see you back next season as well. Again, nice job on the 5th place, and can't wait to see you in season 2.
Yeah, me too. Thank you guys for your incredible and outstanding work.
Thank you. That was Enzo Canta, 5th place finisher here today. Next up, we got 3rd place podium finisher Mick Claridge. Sean is going to talk to him about the championship and today's race.
Mick, congratulations, buddy. You got yourself a championship. It's done. It's dusted. It's locked up now, and you finish it with a podium. Not a bad deal for you. Congratulations.
Hi guys. Pretty annoying, to be honest with you. Yeah, I messed up the tire pressures up in qualifying, so yeah, I just had no grip on the right rear. Yeah, I actually thought, well, I was just talking to Billy Bob about that in post-race, and he was saying what's going on. I said, I changed the tyre press, went down to 18s, actually went up to 19s. It should have been 18.5. It's such a fine line. And I was actually trying to push the car to get some more heat into the tyre, and I was overheating it. I didn't even realise what I was doing. So, yes, what a mess up.
Well, talk about that real quick, the tires and the lack of grip here at Phillip Island. How do you combat that? What do you do? I mean, it's only a 20-lap race. Is there much time to give those tires a break?
Oh, you have to drop the right sides down, otherwise you just hammer them. There's so many places on that track where the right sides overheat or get hot. Ever since the track was released, I remember it was released with a V8 supercar, and that week, everyone realised how hard it was on the right front. And I think some of the guys were saying it is like that in real life. You really have to take care of at least the right front. So no, it's tough. And that long straight, you'd have thought that you'd get some respite there, but no. As soon as you hit turn 2 or whatever it is, the heat's back on it. So no, you really have to hold back. But yeah, that's what happens when you mess the tires up. It's you're nowhere. It was just like snapping on me so badly. I was so worried about it. And when Billy Bob caught me at the end, I was actually watching the guys in front, just looking to see who was going to get in front on the last lap there. And so annoyed about that, Sean. Really annoying.
All right, it's time to get rid of the frustration. You've won the championship. You've got your whole day left in front of you, a whole Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. What does Mick Claridge do to celebrate the championship?
I'll tell you what I'm going to do to celebrate the championship, Sean. I've got my Dodge Challenger sitting outside on the road, and you're not going to guess what I'm going to say. I've got to change a freeze plug on the side of the engine on that car, so that's what I'm going to do to celebrate.
Yeah, and I know your the weather there has been really dodgy here over the past couple of weeks, hasn't it?
It's been absolutely horrendous. It's been like blizzard. It's been real blizzard. I mean, tragically, a few people have died because of it. And it's been really bad, and it still is over on the other side of the country. It's real bad. So we're just getting over it now.
Well, good luck with that freeze plug, buddy. Hopefully when you're done with that, you can go have a pint and kick back and relax for the rest of your weekend. But always great to talk to you. Congratulations. We look forward to seeing you back next season.
Yeah, great to talk to you guys too all the time. Yeah, as always, thanks for putting on such a brilliant broadcast for us every season. And I know, yeah, we're back with you next season, so I can't wait. Okay, see you later, guys. Thanks.
All right, Mick, good luck with the freeze plug. All right, Joe. Well, Mick's got a busy day ahead of him. Freeze plugs are not fun, but I'll tell you somebody who isn't freezing, and that's Billy Bob, and he is in the booth with us now, Joe.
It depends on how much of a Floridian he is and what the temperature is there right now. Billy Bob, you managed to get 4th. You held up Enzo Canta. Now, Enzo said he didn't know and didn't care about the championship fight. But what about you? Were you aware that he was 2 points back?
Well, you guys got me. I'm not sure this mic's working.
Yep, we got you.
Okay, cool. Well, this early morning stuff really throws me for a loop because when I looked at the points this morning, I wrote down that one of us had 36 points and one of us had 34, and I thought I was the one with 34. So I thought I needed to pass Mick to get enough points to at least tie, and then maybe if I had more wins, then I would get it. But I had it backwards, so I was comfortably the whole way through leading Enzo in the points, and it was important to me. I wanted that fourth place.
Is that what caused you to defend so staunchly throughout the race? Because that was impressive that you managed to hold them off for, I guess, half the race, essentially.
Well, I think more than anything, those guys made mistakes. But yeah, I was determined to defend, and I don't know if you remember in my last season, I had a win here in exactly the same situation where I had guys behind me that were quicker. But I run a really unique line here. There's two places where basically it's impossible to pass me, and then from there, I just need to make sure I don't make any mistakes. And worked out today. I mean, I'm assuming Enzo had a big mistake in the first part of the race, so I'm looking forward to seeing the broadcast to see how that came about, because I was really surprised to see him behind me, and that's when I decided, it's time to really just put down some solid laps, and it worked out again.
Now, this season, you guys mimicked the schedule of the Skip Barber series. Next season, you're mimicking the Lotus 79s. Are you going to do any races over in the more recent Lotus?
I think I'm probably going to do all of them.
Wow.
Yeah, a car I've always wanted to drive, and I've never spent any time in it. So I'm kind of liking these cross-pollination things, because it's making me jump into cars I normally wouldn't race. And I had a great time at the Skip Barber. That car is so different, but so alike in so many ways. I mean, it's just so fun to toss it around. So I'm loving it. Yeah, looking forward to next season in the 79.
Well, we look forward to seeing you in both as well, and hopefully we'll get you on both broadcasts. Again, congratulations on getting fourth in the championship and fourth on track today.
Thanks, guys. Always a pleasure. Don't want to watch the broadcast. We'll see you next season.
All right, we'll see you. That is Billy Bob Wright, who had a great race today. We had a good time watching him, as well as the battle between Ove and Michelle. But it's time to wrap up for season 1 of 2018. First down, 3 more to go, Sean.
Yeah.
As we're going to thank a few people, of course, thanks to Jack Ulstead and Ben Zoko. Of course, Ben's going to be taking over the organizing next season. A huge, huge, huge thank you to Jack Ulstead for all the seasons that he helped organize and was our contact here at the Lotus 49 for these broadcasts. Thanks to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast. You can see them listed here on your screen. And additional thanks to Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde, who provide our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of their great work. Thanks to the team today, Sean, Amjad, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. Or you can check out our social media. We're on Twitter at GSR Channel, or Facebook @Global Sim Racing Channel. And guess what? We're also on Instagram now. You can check us out there. It is GSRC_Graham. I got that right, Sean?
You got it right, man.
All right, there we go. Next race, I don't believe we have the schedule yet, so we're not sure where we're going to be, but we are going to be back for sure next season. That is going to take place on March 17th. That'll be 8:30 a.m. Eastern. We get 2 weeks before the next one. Get a week off next week, with it being week 13 here. We also have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. However, until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.